Right now, somewhere in your head, there's a version of you that already won the argument, already said the perfect thing to your ex, already told your boss exactly what you think, already made that person who hurt you feel small, the way they made you feel small. None of it happened, but you've relived it 50 times. If you've ever caught yourself walking down the street mouthing words to a conversation that doesn't exist, staring blankly while your mind performs an entire scene with a full cast, you're not losing it. You're not childish. You're not wasting your life. You're running a program your brain has used for millions of years. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what it's doing to you, why you can't just stop thinking about it, and the one shift that actually works. Let's kill a myth first. This isn't daydreaming. Daydreaming is your mind wandering with no destination. What you're doing is closer to directing a film. You're writing the dialogue. You're casting the expressions on someone's face. You're choosing the exact tone of voice they use when they finally admit you were right. That takes real mental machinery, real energy. So the question is, why would your brain spend that much fuel on something that isn't even happening? Because your brain hates unfinished business. Someone says something cutting at dinner. You freeze. 2 hours later, loading the dishwasher, the perfect response finally arrives. Too late to matter. Except your brain doesn't file that under too late. It files it under unresolved. And unresolved things don't stay quiet. They get replayed, edited, and replayed again until they feel finished. This has a name in neuroscience, the default mode network. Think of it as the app that opens the second you stop actively using your phone. You finish a task, your mind goes idle, and instantly it's back, pulling old memories, mixing them with things you wish you'd said, building a scene. For some people, the sensitive ones, the overthinkers, the ones who replay a 5-second glance for 3 days, this network doesn't idle quietly. It runs loud, constantly hunting for something to rehearse, repair, or relive. And here's the part most people miss. This isn't a malfunction. It's maintenance. Here's where it gets interesting, because this mental habit lives a double life. Sometimes it's rehearsal. You run through how you'll ask for a raise. You picture the date going well. You mentally practice setting a boundary with your mother. This kind of imagining builds real neural pathways. So when the moment actually comes, you don't freeze. But sometimes the exact same mechanism turns into something else entirely, a replacement. You've imagined the confrontation so many times, said every version of the perfect comeback so vividly in your head that when you're standing in front of the actual person, you say nothing. Some part of you already feels like it happened. You already got the relief. Why would you risk the messy, unscripted, possibly humiliating real version? That's the trap. Preparation and substitution use the same wiring. And the line between them is so thin most people never notice which side they've drifted to. Underneath all of it is one word: control. Real life won't give you a redo. People misunderstand you and walk away before you can explain. Someone you respect overlooks you. You can't rewind an apology you botched. The world just doesn't stop to let you fix things. But in your head, you're the only one holding the pen. You decide who apologizes. You decide who finally sees you clearly. You decide how the story ends, and it always ends in your favor. That feeling is intoxicating, especially if real life has handed you long stretches of feeling unheard, small, or powerless. The imagined version isn't pathetic. It's a nervous system trying to give you something the world hasn't gotten around to giving you yet. The cost shows up quietly. The brain isn't great at separating an emotion born from something real and an emotion born from something you invented. So you wake up cold toward a partner who did nothing, except in a scene your mind played at 2 a.m. Or you build someone up so perfectly in your imagination that the real person, just being normal and a little distracted, feels like a devastating letdown. You're not falling for another person. You're falling for your own writing. Here's the part nobody tells you. Trying to force yourself to stop makes it worse. Tell your brain, don't think about this, and it will hand you the scene in HD, twice. So instead of fighting it, you redirect it. 4 moves. 1. Get it out of your head and onto paper. The moment you catch yourself scripting the perfect comeback, stop and write the scene down. Not to reread it forever, just to give your brain proof that the thought has been captured. Once it's stored somewhere outside you, the compulsion to keep replaying it quietly loosens. 2. Ask what it's actually for. Look at what you wrote and ask one honest question. Is this preparing me or protecting me? If it's preparation, there's an action waiting on the other side of it. Go take it, today, while the courage is still warm. If it's protection, admit that quietly to yourself. I'm hiding in here because the real version scares me. That single moment of honesty does more than any pep talk. 3. Give it a closing time. You don't need to kill your imagination. It's not the enemy. Just put a frame around it. When the scene shows up, let yourself have it fully for 10 minutes. Full drama, full dialogue, full victory. Then the timer ends and the theater closes. You stand up. You leave the room you built. 4. Come back through your body. When you notice you've been gone for 20 minutes, heart pounding over something that never happened, don't argue with the thought. Feel your feet against the floor. Notice the actual temperature of the room. Pick one object, a mug, a door frame, a plant, and really look at it. Your mind can travel anywhere. Your body can't. It's always exactly here. Use that. Your imagination isn't broken, and it isn't shameful. It's kept you company on nights when real life felt too cold to sit in. Some of those scenes were probably the only warmth you had for a while, but they were always meant to be a rehearsal room, not a residence, the real version of your life. Messy, unscripted, no guaranteed happy ending, is still sitting there, waiting for you to actually walk into it. And even unscripted, it's the only version that can actually hold you back. If this hit something in you, tell me in the comments. What's the scene your mind keeps replaying? You might find out you're not the only one still holding the pen. Subscribe if you want to keep pulling these threads apart together. I'll see you in the next one.